Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now you might be really confused because it's very dark and I know you can hardly see me. I was looking for a light but I can't find one. But I finished this book that I'm going to be talking about last night. I also started it last night and I loved it so much and I just felt like I had to talk about it. I put on my Instagram stories that I was going to do a video about it and I ranted about it a bit on there. But I wanted to do a whole video on it and I was going to wait. So it's currently Friday night and it's literally like almost 12 in the morning. But I was going to wait until Monday, but I couldn't. And I just finished writing all of my notes in my thing, in my book journal about it. Here. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the video now. I'm sorry that it's very dark and that you can hardly see me and whatever. But I can't wait, you know? So, the book I'm going to be talking to you about is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Now, you have probably heard of this book. It's been very hyped. I've been meaning to read it for a long time, and yesterday, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finally do it. It shouldn't take me long. It didn't. So, I read it, and oh my god, this book! Like, what? I definitely rated it 5 stars, as you can tell. This video is going to contain spoilers, but I'm going to do the spoiler-free version first. So I will, if you want spoilers, I'll put the timer of where the spoiler bit is. But I'm just going to run through a spoiler-free bit quickly. So this is about Macy and Elliot. Macy's mother passed away when she was younger. I think she was 3. Of cancer, and her mother left her father a note of like things to do to help like bring her up. And one of the things that was on the list was get her a place to like get away. So she's feeling stressed and just needs time to like get away from things. Give her that place. So he decided to buy like a vacation house, and that is where she meets Elliot. And they read together, they become best friends, and they know each other for many years. And then something happens, and so they quit communication, or should I say, Macy quits communication with Elliot. And then 11 years later, they run into each other. And yeah, so that's the spoiler-free version. That's what I'm going to say because, like I said, I don't want to spoil it. But I can promise you now, if you haven't read this yet, go and read it. It is so good and you won't be disappointed. Now, there are some people that are conflicted and say that they don't know what they think about it. But then there's like people that's like, wow, this book. So I suggest you go and read it. Now, for the spoiler-free bit of this video. Okay, so let me get into it. So, like I said, if you watch spoiler-free bit, this is about Macy and Elliot. Macy's mother passed away when she was younger. I think she was 3, and of cancer. And her mother and father were like really in love. Like they was always together. They're just really close, you know. And Macy noticed that. And she was like, I want something like that when I'm older. You know, so, but unfortunately when Macy's mother passed away, her father kind of closed off. And the cute thing is her mother left her father a note or like a list of things to do to help her grow up, like bring her up. So like things like things to help her with like her first period or her first love, or you know, things like that. And it's like really cool. But one of the things is make sure that she has a place to escape. So she's feeling stressed or worried or just life is getting too much for her, that she can go to this one place to get away. So her father buys a vacation home that they decide to go to every couple of like weekends or whatever, and for the summer, and basically whenever she asks, then he'll take her. But so they're going to go and view this place so that they can buy it, obviously. And she finds this boy in a closet called Elliot, and that's when they first meet. And he's like, don't worry, when this place is like yours, I won't be in this closet. I've been doing this for ages because no one's lived here. But she's like, you can come over whenever you want, that's fine. And they become best friends and reading buddies. Like, they read books all the time together. And yeah, so that's where their friendship basically starts. And then a couple years later, so they meet when they're 13, 14 years old. So then, like, obviously they're best friends for like so many years, and then when they are 17 and 18, they finally decide, after so many like backwards and forwards of like, we should be together, no, we should wait, blah blah blah. They finally decide to be together, so they are for a while. But Elliot decides to go to this party while Macy is like obviously not there with him, and he's obviously like really drunk, and obviously because he doesn't drink, he's like lightweight, he's a lightweight, so he can get drunk really easily. And he asks her to marry him and says that he loves her, whatever. And she's like, I don't want to do this over the phone, like what do I do? She decides to go over to him to like this party. But when she does, one of Elliot's friends is like, oh yeah, he's upstairs, but then the other one's like, I wouldn't go upstairs. Now that's a bit suspicious, is it not? But she goes upstairs and finds Elliot in bed with another girl. Like, oh my god, poor Macy. So obviously she's so disappointed. She's like, oh my god, he cheated on me. Like, I thought he would never do this. But she leaves, gets in the car, obviously he's devastated, gets home, and her father's like, did he hurt you? She says no at first, but then she's like, yeah, he cheated. And her father's trying to make her feel better, because obviously her mother didn't leave anything about her first broken heart, so he had to kind of like figure it all out. But the next day they was going somewhere and they got in a car accident, and unfortunately her father passed away in the accident. And that scene broke my heart. Like, I cried. I sobbed. Like, even thinking about it now is bringing tears to my eyes. It's so sad. So yeah, she's devastated about that, and she kind of blames Elliot for it in a way, because she's like, well, if I wasn't heartbroken, then my father wouldn't have done this for me, and this wouldn't have happened, whatever. So she cuts contact off with Elliot for many years. Then it's 11 years later, they run into each other. Macy is engaged, so she's about to get married, and her fiance has a daughter. But when Elliot comes back, she realizes her relationship with her fiance just seems really weird. Like, she doesn't feel love. She doesn't feel that connection like she did with Elliot. And when her and Elliot went for lunch, Elliot told her that he broke up with his girlfriend of 5 years the next day after like meeting her again. Whoa, because he couldn't be with someone that he couldn't say like say I love you to the face and not feel it. Like, he didn't have that connection like with his girlfriend like he did with Macy, so he can't lie, which I get, that's a good thing. But it took a while for Macy to like figure things out. But when she was telling her fiance that she might still be in love with like this person that she's known since her childhood, her fiance didn't care much. He was just kind of like, oh well, I'll give you time to figure things out. I'm sorry, but if you loved someone, you would not say that. You'd be like, what? You think you were in love with someone else? Like, what are you talking about? So it was clear to her that he didn't really love her on that level, and she didn't really love him. Like, obviously they loved each other like as friends, but not as like where they can get married kind of thing. So she leaves, they break up, you know. And then Elliot and Macy start to spend a lot more time together. And like she re-meets Elliot's family at a wedding. And it's all fun and cool, you know. But then Macy tells Elliot, like, obviously everything that, or why she cut him off and everything, and he felt bad and he was kind of in shock. But once he got over it and that was fine and they talked about it and everything, they got together. Yay! Like, that moment I was like, oh my god, yes, finally. But it's such a heavy book, but it's so good. But yeah, I recommend that you look at the trigger warnings if you want to read this book, definitely. But it is so good, like so good. I kind of already want to reread it. I know, crazy, but yeah. So that's my summary of it. This is a lot. You can't even see it, but that is a lot to write. I didn't even look at those notes because I don't need to, because I have it all in here. And I just, it was so good. Okay, I'm gonna start repeating myself because that's all I'm gonna say, because that's what I have to say about this book. So if you haven't read this yet, go and read it, because wow, just wow. Okay, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, even though it was very spontaneous of me. Definitely not planned. Well, it was, but not for today. It was planned for Monday. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye!